News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
Pahrump's most watched and #1 media source for local news and weather with Deanna O'Donnell.
Welcome to News 46's Week in Review, your #1 source for local news. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. A fatal accident occurred on Halloween night on Highway 160 and Basin. Nevada Highway Patrol has issued an official press release regarding the Halloween night fatal accident on Highway 160 and Basin. According to the report, a brown 1998 Jeep SUV was traveling northbound on State Route Highway 160 in the left turn lane, approaching the intersection of Basin Avenue, when a red 2008 Harley-Davidson motorcycle driven by 32-year-old Ivan P. David of Henderson, Nevada, was traveling southbound on State Route 160 in the left travel lane, approaching the intersection of Basin Avenue. The Jeep SUV entered the intersection, making a left-hand turn onto westbound Basin as the Harley-Davidson motorcycle entered the intersection. The front of the Jeep SUV was struck by the Harley-Davidson motorcycle's front and left side. Ivan P. David and his 23-year-old female passenger were ejected from the motorcycle as it traveled southbound. Ivan P. David was transported to Desert View Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries he sustained in the collision. The passenger on the motorcycle was also transported to Desert View Hospital, where she remains hospitalized. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. And a hit-and-run accident on Highway 160 in front of the Pahrump Nugget injured the motorcycle rider who was struck by a van that fled the scene. A motorcycle versus van accident last night in front of the Pahrump Nugget. We're going to speak to Fire Chief Scott Lewis.
Yes, there was another motorcycle accident last evening in front of the Pahrump Nugget on Highway 160, as you mentioned. The person who was riding the bike was subsequently transported from the scene. The engine company and the ambulance took care of that particular incident, and there was no further problems.
And I know that the van driver took off that night. County Sheriff's deputies were able to catch up to him.
It's my understanding that they did, in fact, have to find him, and they did so, locating him a short while later.
And then the motorcycle driver was on the ground. Was he transported via Mercier or locally?
That was local.
3 babies and 1 adult were injured while trick-or-treating on Winery Road. A devastating accident on Winery Road involving 3 infants and an adult female who were struck by a vehicle while trick-or-treating. We're going to speak to Fire Chief Scott Lewis.
We were dispatched with a report of a pedestrian motor vehicle accident with 3 children involved. Upon arrival, we did in fact find that 3 children and at least 1 adult were struck by a vehicle, and we transported one of the children from the scene to Desert View, while the other ones were taken by neighbors and such to the hospital in personal vehicles.
And they were inside a stroller, I believe, or?
I don't know the exact details, but it's my understanding that at least 2 of the children had been in a stroller when the people were struck from behind, and the stroller was definitely involved. I'm just not sure exactly to what extent.
And these were babies?
They were very young children, yes.
And then the female as well was injured?
Yes, she reported an injury and subsequently reported to the hospital on her own. She did not want to be medically treated or transported on the scene.
And then the vehicle driver, was he injured?
Not to my knowledge. There was no report of an injury out of the vehicle.
They were walking in the roadway a little bit because of the stroller, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the circumstances presenting for the accident. All we know, when we arrived there, they were on the shoulder of the road and we attended to them.
Were they transported via Mercier?
I don't know exactly what the hospital did, but I believe there was an inter-facility transfer of some type.
And News 46 has learned that one of the children involved in that accident did sustain serious head injuries. Pediatricians from Las Vegas came in to take care of the child here at Desert View Hospital. The other 2 children and the adult female are going to recover from their injuries. We're not sure to the extent of the injuries on that 1 infant as far as the recovery. We do know that there was 1 other pedestrian vehicle accident last night. Someone else was also struck by a vehicle. They declined medical attention, and Nye County Sheriff's deputies did go to their home because it was a hit-and-run accident. They're still looking for that vehicle. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. A minor two-vehicle accident on Calvada sent one woman to Desert View Hospital. A minor two-vehicle accident this afternoon at Blagg and Calvada. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue arrived on scene along with Nye County Sheriff's deputies who blocked traffic in all directions during the investigation of this accident, which required one woman with a local plate here to be transported to Desert View Hospital. The other vehicle had no occupants that claimed injury. Nye County Sheriff's deputies are investigating the cause of this accident. This is Deanna O'Donnell on Blagg and Calvada for News 46. And firefighters responded to a brush fire here in town. We speak to Fire Chief Scott Lewis.
Yeah, well, last evening we had a brush fire around 10 o'clock last evening, where it appears to have been started by fireworks usage, where someone attempted to destroy a mailbox and result also set the ground cover around on fire. Extremely dangerous. The winds were starting to pick up a little bit. The vegetation in the area was extremely dry. It was an accumulation. Very serious issue. So please, no fireworks, and make sure that the accumulated material around your house is cleared.
We've had a lot of brush fires recently, haven't we?
Yeah, it's actually picked up. Usually that's where this time of year, most of it's starting to wean off. However, we have noticed an increase within the last week or two. And now, as you notice, we're starting to get the winds today out of the north. So the conditions are ripening again that a controlled burn or some other mechanism, some other ignition source could cause a real serious fire for us.
The burn moratorium has been lifted. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Lewis speaks to us about how to obtain a burn permit and have a safe, controlled burn. The burn moratorium has been lifted, hasn't it?
It has, and it's already caused a number of brush fires throughout the area. One in particular, what initiated as a controlled burn quickly escaped the confines of the individual tending it, and it became a full-blown brush fire with a structure exposure to propane tanks, but it was quickly handled by the fire department, by the Engine 4 crew. But it reminds us that even though we've lifted the burn moratorium, to be extremely careful, make sure the conditions are right, make sure we call in and keep the garden hoses available so that in the event that it starts growing, that you can quickly control it.
How do people get a burn permit?
They need to just come into Station 1 at 300 North Highway 160. At the burn desk, they'll issue one of the permits after they show proof of ownership of the property and also show proof of insurance.
And this is required, isn't it, if you're burning?
It is, and one of the other big things that we're running into as far as our investigations of controlled burns is that people are burning on the property owned by others. You cannot do that. It has to be specifically on your property for your natural waste vegetation.
Exactly. You can't burn debris.
You can't burn debris or trash on the ground or anything like that. And we've run into that in several instances.
Because we do have a free dump site.
Exactly, and that's probably the best bet still, is to take your material. It could be recycled through their different mechanisms and mulched and things like that. So it's still the best way to go.
And we have some guidelines that we have to meet with the burn permits too as well.
You do, and that's why if you come into the fire station, we'll give you a complete list of the criteria for it's a Pahrump Town ordinance, and we'll give you all the information you need to know before you can burn.
One child was bit by a rattlesnake while trick-or-treating.
It was reported that there was a child bitten by a rattlesnake last evening. That person was taken via a personal vehicle to the hospital and was treated and transported.
This was during trick-or-treating?
This occurred during, we received a request via cell phone that there was such an incident. We investigated and found out that it in fact did happen, and the patient was well on their way to the hospital.
Is it the season right now?
It's my understanding, I've spoken with several people that have encountered rattlesnakes recently. While I thought maybe they would have been beginning their hibernation, it appears that they're still out, so please be extremely careful. It's my understanding that the child may not have understood that it was actually a rattlesnake and thought maybe it was another benign type of snake and had been trying to handle it.
Were they taken care of locally here?
It's my understanding that they went to Desert View and may have been transferred later via inner facility.
Well, he gave so much to our community. So many people admired and were inspired to be like him. Community leader, veteran, husband, father, grandfather, friend, and advocate for many, Bob Baker was laid to rest last Saturday. The VFW hosted the memorial service. His family, friends, and many others spoke before the caravan led by the Nye County Sheriff's Auxiliary took Bob's ashes to the Chief Tacoma Cemetery to be interred.
I'm honored that I knew my father as an adult. My father taught me to be a man. He taught me to question everything. I don't mean in a rebellious sense, you know, things like that. What I mean is, don't rely on somebody else giving you the answer to something. Dig for the facts and make your own conclusion.
We're here to honor my dad's life. We're not here to mourn his passing. We're here to honor a life well lived. What a legacy he did leave us, his family, and you, the community of Pahrump.
Mom and Dad, they love this town. They love the desert. They introduced my husband and I to the desert, and that's why we live down this way. My mom, she can't be here today, but I know if she could say something, she'd talk about the sunsets that Mom and Dad shared and the beauty of the colors. My dad taught me to enjoy things like that. He gave me a love for the country, a love for travel. He taught me through his actions and through his deeds to be good to everybody.
I think that he taught my dad how to be a wonderful father. I'm grateful for him for being a wonderful grandfather, and I'm grateful to my dad for being a wonderful dad. He also taught me how to be a wonderful wife, or to be in a wonderful marriage. Seeing my grandparents at their 50th wedding anniversary was one of my most special memories of them. When they got on the dance floor at the end, you could just see how much they loved each other.
There was money missing from an organization, and because of Bob Baker's leadership, he helped to save that organization and kept it alive because of his honesty and his integrity. That's a leader. That man led our community in such a positive manner. I didn't know the man. I'm reading the newspapers thinking, oh my God. The second thing everybody remembers, the Mountain View fire. How many people were helped through the United Way to get through those hard times? Does anybody remember that? Bobby Baker!
Bob, because everything he did, somehow I had to get involved with it. I was the gopher a lot of times, but I knew he loved it. And this whole town is going to miss him.
All of us here at KPVM wish to extend our sympathy to the family. Bob was a close friend to us here at KPVM. He will be deeply missed. If you would like to see the entire memorial service for Bob Baker, go to KPVM.TV or KPVM's YouTube page. Still more local news to come with News 46's News in Review. I'll be right back.
Pahrump's most watched and #1 media source for local news and weather with Deanna O'Donnell.
We spoke to healthcare partners at a recent health fair at Desert View Hospital.
We're here to pass out information to the community regarding their choices on open enrollment, which started October 15th today until December 7th, about your options and different insurances and what your choices are. And if you had any questions about the doctors or our facilities and what we offer to the community as far as facility.
How many facilities do we have?
We have 7 total here in Pahrump.
Wow, that's a lot. There's a lot of options there. How many doctors total, do you know?
Around 25, I believe. And we also have a specialty clinic that we house about 17 specialists, different specialists.
So Healthcare Partners has really grown and kind of changed a little bit, but the doctors, we still have pretty much the same doctors that we had before.
We still have all of our same doctors, and plus we've brought in specialists from Las Vegas. We have dermatology, cardiology, dermatology,
an ENT. Yeah, about 17 different specialists come here to go ahead and provide the best care that we can for our patients here in Pahrump.
I know that you guys have been having some seminars to let people know about their options in the open enrollment period, and you've kind of been reaching out to the community to let them know all the specialties that we have and all the doctors that are available as well.
Definitely. We want the community to know what we can offer to them so that we can, gain your trust as far as healthcare, and to be in a partnership with our patients, and that's our goal, is to be in a partnership. It's not about healthcare, it's about being a partner.
I know that you guys are accepting Humana now, and that's a big deal for the open enrollment period.
Yes, we accept any and all Humana patients, and we will accept Senior Dimensions till December 31st. We are trying to negotiate and see what we can do to correct that also.
You still are in negotiations with them?
As far as I know, yes.
And so what other insurances?
I believe the only insurance we are not contracted currently is with Culinary. Other than that, we accept everything.
This past Monday, as you know, was Halloween, and all over the valley, kids dressed up in their scariest or cutest costumes to enjoy some fun with family and friends. Well, as you know, last night was Halloween. The Prump Nugget had its usual line out the door, which kids in every costume imaginable lined up, excitedly waiting to see the many booths that businesses and organizations graciously decorated, which were scary and sometimes very funny. The Prump Nugget has been hosting this event for 3 years now, thanks to many organizations and businesses like Nevada Public Auction, the Nye County Sheriff's Great and Dare programs, as well as their resource officers. The Community Safe Night would not have been a huge success as it was. Last year, they counted 9,700 people who came through the maze to collect goodies of all sorts. Mountain View Casino also had the Prump Valley Cruisers Trunk or Treat. But some kids just enjoyed going house to house with family and friends the old-fashioned way, ringing the doorbell and yelling, "Trick or treat!" Hope you had a wonderful holiday. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. If you like ham radio, then you might want to attend the first annual amateur radio event this weekend at Ian Deutsch Memorial Park.
It's on the 5th of September. That's Saturday morning at 8 to noon. We'll be out of the park by noon. This is for any and all amateur radio operators, preferably people that are already licensed amateurs, but guests and visitors are certainly welcome. And the reason for this meet is to demonstrate homemade antennas and other loading devices and mini towers, this kind of stuff. To tickle people's minds, there will be an electrified stepladder there that one gentleman will try to make HF contacts with. Another gentleman will be there with a VHF hard hat for climbing towers and trees and stuff like that. Okay, my name is Steve, and the phone number, even though I live out here in Pahrump, is 702-501-4494. The email is slffoster@yahoo.com. My call sign is AE7NP. I'd be happy to welcome any and all guests there on Saturday the 5th. There will be coffee, hot dogs, bagels, donuts there for everyone to enjoy. Come and have a cup of coffee.
We spoke to Jan Lindsay about RSVP, which stands for Retired Senior Volunteer Program.
RSVP is doing well. We have a lot of clients in Pahrump. We have a lot of wonderful volunteers in Pahrump. And I'm here at the fair today to give information to people who may need our services in the future. We have the telephone tree, which calls on seniors to make sure they're doing okay. We have the transportation program where our drivers will pick up a senior and take them to their medical appointments locally in Pahrump. And also, when we have enough drivers, we'll take them shopping to the hairdressers, the library, the bank, that kind of a program. And we have respite for the caregiver, which is one of our volunteers goes into a home to stay with the client while the caregiver, their personal caregiver, family caregiver, takes a break for 4 to 5 hours at a time. This is really important because the caregivers are on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they are tired. So it's important that they take a break.
It is so important. And RSVP is all volunteers, or there are some paid positions?
Well, almost everybody in this area well, we're all volunteers, and some receive a stipend. The drivers receive a stipend for mileage. The respite providers receive a stipend for mileage and their time. It's not, I won't call them paid positions, but yes, there is stipend available for some of the positions.
And this is such a really rewarding program as well, but for people who need RSVP, how can they get in touch with you?
To call my home phone number at 751-5282. The message machine is always on, and I will get back to people.
And if people would like to volunteer for RSVP, how can they do that?
The same phone number, 751-5282. I'd love to hear from you.
And also, as well, the tree. If you're not interested in going into the homes, at least the calling tree or whatever it's called. What is it called?
It's called the telephone tree, and a volunteer is set up to call 3 or 4 seniors, generally the seniors who live alone. And they'll call and make sure that they're okay. Do they need help? And if they do need help, the volunteer will call me, and then we'll get something into action.
And all this weekend, the Pahrump Arts Council Art and Soul event will be held at the Sanders Family Winery on Kellogg. We spoke to Lulu Breimer to get all the details.
Well, we have the 17th annual, and it's Art and Soul, and PAC, Pahrump Arts Council, is the one that puts it on every year. We have a terrific committee this year. Dorothy Slicker is the chairman, and we have 4 others on our committee, myself as publicity, Lloyd Martin, who else? Marilyn Tenney, and Princey, who is taking all the orders for vendor space. Princey Simonson.
Excellent. So when is this going to be?
This is going to be November 5th and 6th at the Sanders Family Winery.
And this is the first time we're having it at the winery, correct?
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful facility. Everyone is urged to come out. And it's going to be free to the public, which makes it even better.
Good. And this is going to be an indoor and outdoor event. So what time is this going to be held at? Is this a Saturday and a Sunday?
Yes, it is. It's November 5th and November 6th. It's going to be Saturday from 9 to 4, excuse me, and then Sunday from 10 to 3.
Great. And so you guys are still actually calling artists and crafters and everybody, if they would like to get a space at the festival, they can do that. How can they reach you?
Okay, they can reach us by calling Princey at area code 775-537-7958.
Great. And you guys are going to have entertainment there, door prizes and raffles, and a chance to win a computer, compliments of Master Tech. So it's going to be a very fun event. We hope everybody comes out there and sees all of the great paintings and crafts and everything that the artists have made for the event.
Yes, there'll be all kinds of media, there'll be jewelry, there'll be wood crafts, there'll be art in all kinds, on leather, on canvas, scenery, Western, Indian, everything, and all different kinds of booth spaces still available for inside and in the patio and the outer areas.
230 much-needed caps are going to be given to some very special kids in our local schools.
Today we're giving Linda over 200 hats for our homeless students here in Pahrump. I learned of the need last spring, and a bunch of the friends and family just got together and we knit and crocheted all summer, and we've got them finally completed for her to pass out.
These are wonderful, just in time for winter.
Absolutely, and we've already had a lot of children identified. This year alone, we've had 150 children identified, which is almost another 60 more than we had at this time last year. So I expect our ending numbers to be a lot more. So these are going to be very, very useful for our children.
How are we going to be distributing these?
What we're going to be doing is probably the best way for us to distribute them is go directly to the schools. So like I said, the schools have identified those children already, and so we're going to be going through these beautiful hats and deciding the sizes and how many boys, how many girls that we have. We'll look at the numbers of each individual school and send it out to the schools, and then every school has a site representative, and that site representative will contact the child and pass them out.
There you go. And how many people participated in making these hats?
There was probably about a dozen. We're just kind of spread, and the hats multiplied like bunny rabbits. Some people would just drop off yarn at Stocker's Crafts. Some people purchased the yarn there and left it without names. So I can't say thank you to everyone personally, other than to everyone that helped out. I don't know everyone's name. But it just spread, which is great, because that's what so many people here in Pahrump do. A simple project can be done.
Are we finding that kids are more and more in need of things like this?
Absolutely. A lot of the times, these types of things are the things that can't be afforded by the parent. I mean, their needs are their basic needs: heat, food, and a house. And so these are the types of things that they just don't get.
I bet the smile on these kids' faces is going to be enormous, because not only to keep them warm, but just the idea of the hat.
Absolutely. And, you know, a lot of these kids just need to know that there's somebody out there that cares about them, and this is what this shows.
What was it like making this?
It was a lot of fun, and I just kind of thought back to my sons when they were younger and in elementary school. They're in their mid-30s, but it's nice to know something simple and low cost can make someone feel good about themselves.
And you've also identified some other things that the kids may be in need of.
Right. Today, in talking with Linda, I learned that they can use socks and slippers. So again, I seem to have a way of getting the word out there to as many people as I can that, you know, something, again, affordable and just not thought of often. So we'll get her some socks and slippers as time goes on.
Are we going to be making these, or are we going to be asking for the public to help donate?
With the socks, most of them will be donated. Slippers can be knit and crocheted, so it'll be some of both.
There you go. And so for more information, people can call you?
They can call me at 751-5356, and there is an answering machine on all the time.
Linda, is there anything else that the public can do to help out these kids?
Well, if there's anything that they would like to do, whether it be a financial donation or a donation like this, absolutely, they can give me a call. I have a list of items that I always have on hand that we need, so they can call me at 727-1875.
More with News 46's News in Review. Stay tuned.
Pahrump's most watched and #1 media source for local news and weather with Deanna O'Donnell.
And here's Zach Fuentes with a look at your entertainment this week.
I'm Zach Fuentes with your entertainment this week. Well, some serious drama in the world of teen star Justin Bieber is taking place. It was announced yesterday that Bieber is being faced with a lawsuit, and not just any lawsuit, but a paternity suit. A 20-year-old woman named Mariah Yater is claiming that Justin Bieber, 17, is the father. She claims that she met the singer in October of last year at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and she stated that a security guard approached her and asked if she would like to go backstage to meet Justin. She says that her and Justin were mutually attracted to each other, and after a period of kissing, he suggested that the two go somewhere private. That private place, according to her, was a bathroom in the Staples Center. You can finish the rest of the story in your imagination or something. Well, Yater is demanding that Bieber take a paternity test to scientifically prove that he is the father of the 3-month-old baby. She says her main goal in this is only to get adequate support for her baby. Bieber and his camp are denying the rumors, and Justin himself says he isn't even going to focus on it. He looks pretty frustrated there too, doesn't he? Well, this last summer we reported that British singer Amy Winehouse had unfortunately been found dead in her London home. Just last week, it was reported that her death was due to alcohol poisoning, with her blood alcohol content at over 5 times the legal driving limit. Winehouse's life and career was always plagued with controversy, which at many times overshadowed her musical genius. But, as is the case when most controversial artists die, her music, and solely her music, is now being appreciated. In fact, on December 5th, an all-new full-length album of brand new recordings will be posthumously released according to her record label. The 12-track album named Lioness, Hidden Treasures will be made up of new songs she was working on before her death, as well as unreleased tracks, covers of classic songs, and alternate versions of her many hits. Her final single, Body and Soul, a duet with the legendary Tony Bennett, is also going to be present on the album. The Winehouse family was consulted and gave their blessing for the album's release. Her father was quoted as saying, "It's just incredibly beautiful. I spent so much time chasing after Amy, telling her off, that I never realized what a true genius she was." She really was. Well, earlier this year, another British singer that we know over here in America was forced to cancel some of her North American tour dates due to a case of laryngitis. Well, last week, 23-year-old Adele was forced to cancel the remainder of her Adele Live tour, but for a more serious situation. Adele announced that she is now suffering from a hemorrhaged vocal cord and will need to undergo throat surgery to fix this problem. Now, a rumor floating around has been that the singer has throat cancer, but according to her publicist, these rumors are 100% false. Adele apologized to her fans, saying that she has no choice but to recuperate fully and properly, or else she risks damaging her voice forever. We most definitely do not want that, Adele. Well, yesterday saw the release of Disney Pixar film Cars 2 on home video for the first time since its release back in June. Well, that wasn't the only thing to happen regarding the movie this week. The film's director, John Lasseter, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and stars such as Owen Wilson, Bonnie Hunt, Brad Paisley, Don Rickles, Randy Newman, and others were on hand to support him. Lasseter is a two-time Academy Award winner who made his debut in the first ever full-length computer-animated film back in 1995, Toy Story. Since then, he went on to direct and or produce all the Disney Pixar films like A Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, Up, and all the other legendary classics in the Disney Pixar catalog. This is also a big year for Disney Pixar, as it is their 25th anniversary. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. Remember, Pick Up Cars, it just came out this week. Zach Fuentes, and that was your entertainment this week.
The Pahrump Valley Historical Museum is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. They cut a ribbon last weekend for the museum. We speak to Phil Huff.
Welcome to the Pahrump Valley Museum and Historical Society 10th anniversary. We have some luminaries here that we'll introduce to you. We have a representative from the DAR, Mrs. Sepulveda. We have the Miss Senior Golden Years in Miss Nye County. We have Pam and Phil Ranieri here. Phil is our president. He's the president of our board of directors, and he kind of guides the museum along now after our luminary, Mr. Ford, has passed on. And his wife Pam is going to cut the ribbon for us. This we're calling our 10th anniversary of the museum. This building of the museum was dedicated on October 31st, 2003, and it's 8 years old. However, Nancy Ford, who's standing right here, used to run a museum in the Raycraft building that's in the back of the Tyrod building for visitors that wanted to visit. It was a very small offering, but at least it was an attempt to have a museum. So we're calling it our 10th anniversary, and we're going to cut the ribbon. We're going to ask Pam to do the duty. She dressed up in her finest. This is her, her ball gown. So give us a cut.
All right.
Thank you. Well, we're very proud of the fact that the museum has been here. The large building for 8 years, the little building 2 years before that, so we're calling it our 10th anniversary. And we've had an enormous attendance during that time. We keep a very close track of our attendance. We have about half of the people from the town, and the other is evenly divided. About 25% are really from foreign countries, and another 25% from other states in the United States. They find our museum very nice. I don't think they're being overly complimentary, but I think that they're surprised to see such a nice museum in Pahrump, especially the Lincoln Collection, which is so extraordinarily good for this kind of museum. We'd invite people that haven't seen it to come and see it. It's open on 6 days from Sunday through Saturday, or through Sunday. It's only closed on Monday. If I got that right. Monday closed, and it's open the other 6 days. 10 until 4, it's free. So come and see us.
And where are we located?
We're located on Basin Avenue between Highway 160 and Blag. There's a big flagpole. It's on the south side of the street. It's easy to find. Plenty of parking. Parking is free, of course. And so come and visit us.
For more information, they can call?
They can call to 751-1970.
And a short time after the ribbon cutting for the museum, the participants moved over one door to welcome the new exhibit for Yucca Mountain with a ribbon cutting as well.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our ribbon cutting for the addition to the museum that houses the Yucca Mountain display. This is very important. It's history of the Nye County and Pahrump area. The display that's on here today is really brand new. And so we're dedicating the new addition to the museum. We've almost doubled the size of the original building, and we have this display in here. And to help us cut the ribbon today, we have a couple of beauties. we have Miss Golden Years, and we have Miss Nye County. She's the queen for 2002, her banner says, and 2011. Excuse me. 2 ones or 2. All right, and then we have a couple of commissioners here that are very, very involved in Yucca Mountain, and Mr. Hollis rushed home from Washington, D.C. to be here today. So our county commissioners are Gary Hollis and Dan Chinhoven, and they're very involved in the Yucca Mountain project, trying to keep it going. And I'm going to hand the microphone over to Gary Hollis.
Good morning. This grand opening is something that we've all on the county level been working for a long time. The artifacts in this museum came from the old visitor center when DOE wanted to scuttle the project. Nye County took over the ownership of all the artifacts at the visitor center, and we had them moved here, and we updated all the monitors and all the information so that it was up to date. Also, there is some material loaned to us by the Atomic Museum in Las Vegas, and Dr. Vogel has also have some of the artifacts that he's collected over his 35-year tenure at the test site in Yucca Mountain. I think this is a great day for Pahrump and Nye County, and let's cut the rhythm.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy that we have this exhibit here. I'd encourage everybody to come out and take a look. There's great videos of how they drilled it, where all the nuclear waste would go up there. And there's a really great video on transportation. People have this idea that it's going to be transported in the back of a flatbed truck, and they're 55-gallon drums with ooze coming out. They're little ceramic pellets. They're in containers. When they go to move them, they're going to be put in a different container. And then when they get to the site, they're put in a third container. It really shows you how safe it is, and why I'm in favor of this project. And the amount of jobs it'll bring and the funds to this county are just unbelievable. So come on out and look at all the exhibits, and if you have any questions, call Gary, call myself, call one of the other commissioners. We'd be happy to talk to you and tell you why we support this.
Commissioner Gary Hollis also gave an award at the Yucca Mountain exhibit.
Dan and I would like to give this award. It is with our great pleasure that we acknowledge your work, dedication, and hard work to the Pahrump Valley Museum. Without your activity and participation, we would not have achieved so great a goal. Nye County, NWRPO, to Dr. Michael Vogel.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
And I want to tell you, I mean, him and NWRPO staff worked very, very hard in getting these exhibits up and running. And, of course, Dr. Vogel was the iron fist behind it. So thank you, Doctor, and we appreciate all your hard work.
And a book depicting the early days here in Nevada is now available at several locations. It's guaranteed to be an interesting read.
Okay, for the last 25 years, nearly 25 years, Nye County has had its own publishing arm called Nye County Press, and we've published 19 books. And our very latest one is one which I and I think other members associated with it have taken a lot of pleasure in. It's called History of the Tonopah Area and Adjacent Region of Central Nevada, 1827 to 1941. And it was written by a woman named Lucille Berg. She was born and raised in Round Mountain, Nevada, in Nye County. And in 1942, she submitted a master's thesis to the history department at the University of Nevada at Reno. And all these years, it's been passed around in mimeographed copies and dog-eared Xerox copies and everything. And so we have published her book. And she's 98 years old, lives down in Sacramento. And I think that it is still the best source available for the region of central Nevada around Tonopah up to 1942. And
Is this from the original work?
it's a verbatim, it's an exact copy, retypeset of her original thesis, and it is so cool because here you have a young woman who writes a master's thesis in 1942, and in 2011 it gets published.
Have you had a chance to contact her and tell her about it?
Oh yeah, I contacted her before we began to get her permission, and then when we got it finally got it printed and everything, we went down and gave it to her, and they had a party for her down there associated with it, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to do something like that, and we really owe a lot to our county commissioners and to the county as a whole because they're so supportive of our history here.
Where is she located now?
She lives in Sacramento, California, 98 years old.
And what's her family think about the publication?
They love it. They're thrilled with it.
So this is a wonderful thing. Where can people get this?
They can get it here at the museum. They can get it at the museum in Tonopah, and maybe some other sites.
Is it going to be available at the Pahrump Community Library?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the cold days are upon us. Richard Hargis from Pahrump Valley Air Conditioning and Heating gives us some pointers on how to stay warm through the cooler months. Well, if you've been watching our weatherman, Zach Fahrenheit, then you know that the weather is getting colder. We're going to speak to Richard Hargis from Pahrump Valley Air Conditioning about how you can maintain your heater.
You need to get your heater checked. Make sure your heater's safe. Don't just light your pilot yourself. Have it checked because you can cause some real problems there. You need to make sure all your systems are cleaned. Keep them clean. And for some reason, we're having a problem with this new economy this year. We have a lot of unlicensed contractors, so check for a license. We carry them with us all the time. There should be no reason why you shouldn't be able to ask for a license and see it. There seems to be a real problem with that this year.
And I know that lighting the furnace is an issue. You come out and do that and do the full system check as well?
Yeah, of course, yes. We check everything we can check. I mean, as long as it's reasonably visible, we could check all your systems. If we need to go further, we can go further on that, and that is running $50 this year.
Wonderful. And then also, as far as the vents and the duct cleaning,
we could do that also for you. We could do as far as you want. I mean, we've got machines that will suck the paint off your walls. So if you have a problem with your ducts and you need them cleaned, yes, we can help you with that.
and I know that that right now at this time of year, people are kind of alternating back and forth. Like yesterday, the air conditioning is on, the heating's on today, and the vents, in the filters. People, they still need to change their filters regularly, right?
Every 30 days. There is no such thing as a filter that will last 90 days out here. They do not exist. I don't care what they tell you at the stores. They will not last 90 days. Change them every 30 days.
And so what else do people need to know about the heating and what to do? I know that some people use space heaters.
You can use space heaters. Just make sure your wiring is capable of handling. Most mobile homes are not. So if you do buy a space heater, don't run it on the high setting, run it on the low setting. About 1,300 watts is about the most you're going to run. Don't go to the 1,500 watt setting, you're going to cause problems.
Is it more economical to run the home heater or a space heater?
Most definitely your home heater is the most economical way to heat your home.
And then as far as weatherproofing your home so that you can save some money there.
That's a good point. Lots of caulking, weather stripping around the doors. I know we all like doggy doors. I have them myself too. If they get too loose, they need to be replaced like everything else. Mine's guilty of that also. But that's your heat loss, your doggy doors.
What about installation? If people would like to go get a new heater or furnace or air conditioner put in, does Pahrump Valley Air Conditioning do that?
All types, all brands. Just call us, we'll let you know.
There you go. And as well, the service call right now, $50 for people that give you a call and you can come out and check their whole system.
$50, we'll get you out there and check everything you need to be checked.
What's the phone number?
727-7488.
It's Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. Well, that's it for News 46's Week in Review. Some of the weekend's events include the Pahrump Valley Speedway will be having their second to the last race for this season, and the race begins at 1 p.m. And, of course, Art and Soul will be having their event down there at the Kellogg Family Winery, well, actually, Sander Family Winery down there on Kellogg all weekend long, Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see you there. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Have a great weekend.